Good morning, everybody. This is student host Walter Pierce, and we just wrapped up a show on WSOU 89.5 from the campus of Seton Hall in South Orange. And make sure you tune in to our show every Saturday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. But besides that, we talked about Bill Powell today. And see, Bill Powell is definitely not somebody who was heard of from a lot of people, unless you probably play the sport of golf. And see, Bill Powell was a person who went through a lot. And was a person who wanted to play golf. But since he was African American in the early 1900s, that was very difficult, and basically he was being declined to play. So what he did is created his own golf course, which will allow for everybody to play. And that's so prominent because he is like the pioneer for people like me who play the sport of golf today. Because without people like him, doing things like this for the later generation, I wouldn't be able to be in a position to play like I am today. So you have to give props to the people who started it all, and you always have to make sure that you remember those people, because they're most likely the reason why you're in a position that you are in today. And then the next segment we went into is definitions. And our definitions was on common sense. And see, common sense from a lot of people is not common. It's not common for a lot of people. It's a saying that goes around. And basically during our meeting on our podcast, we just talked about what do we feel about common sense? Do we have a different definition, or do you feel like it's changing for today's generation? And one of our team members did say, yeah, there's common sense there was back then, and there's now today. And see, common sense, especially for today's generation, conflicts with past common sense. So which one are you going to use for your basically for your daily life? And a lot of people are conflicted about that and don't like that. And I said the thing conservative or progressive, but that's when Mr. Bay said that's how it sounded. You stay with the later, we stay what we had originally, or we continue to change different ideas. And lastly, we went into our curtain, which was New Edition. And see, just New Edition, excellent group, somebody who could be on the charts with like Jackson 5 as one of the best music groups of all time. And they just did a great job of creating great music. Even though they went through a lot of negative, they still made great music and still was very successful. And the thing that really stood out, and reason I did them, is because they broke up. And usually when you see groups break up, they don't usually come back. They just go on their solo careers. But for them to eventually just come back, form the group, and perform together again, is something that a lot of people needed, especially the people who grew up with their music. To hear something like that currently, I know that's something that is amazing to hear. And besides that, concludes my behind the mic. I want to make sure that y'all tune into our podcast, Blog Talk Radio. All you have to do is just go on our Facebook page, and it's going to be, it should be a link video of our podcast, so you could listen to it, so you could get even more information about what we do on Saturday. And make sure you subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and comment how we did for our show and Behind the Mic. And besides that, Questyouthradio is the best youth radio. The shoulders we stand on. Thank you, Walter.